did still count as a vote, or didn't necessarily.
I don't know if that counts as an extension, which would then count as an affirmative.
Affirmative vote.
That's what I believe it
That's
is.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We approved the minutes from last time. We can need to ratify that.
Which are we talking?
Members of the public.
I think we had a quorum even without Wade, you and me and Julie.
Yeah, y'all do have a point.
So we had a quorum even when Alan left at that last meeting.
Oh, I believe so.
However we resolve that, I think we still have a quorum.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's come to order, staff. I'd like to call the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the summer meeting, the July meeting. I'd like to call it to order. Let's start with a moment of silence. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt the agenda? And we'll come back to you in a minute. We got to get the motion. Someone, is there a second?
I'll second.
Now, I believe Kayla has a proposed amendment we need to consider as incorporated into it.
Yeah, so this morning I spoke to Wade Burns, who's a regular member of the planning board. He informed me that he no longer resides in the municipal boundary of Montreat. He has moved to Black Mountain, so he's no longer eligible to serve in his regular seat. So we now have a vacancy. I'd like to, under new business, discuss filling that vacant seat, either with somebody from the alternate membership, or we will just leave it to the Board of Commissioners to fill that regular seat. So if we can add, discuss filling the vacancy under new business.
That'll be the third one.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to do that? Amend the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. So all in favor of the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's approved.
Thank you.
Next, would someone like to move the adoption of the April and June 2023 meeting minutes, which were circulated?
There, I have just one note on the June 15th. Next, page 2 at the very top. The first sentence where it says I was decided, it should say that.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, while you're on that same page, I guess largest paragraph right in the middle of the page starts with Dan Dean had a comment about bike accessible roads. In that paragraph, you go down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 line, right below where it says Ms. Christina. The end of that sentence says, and is she. That should be if she. Y'all with me?
Y'all see that?
I'm sorry. Where is that?
So on the second page of the June 15th
You could just
minutes.
on the second page.
Yep. Where Bill just made that one change at the very top.
I missed
Okay,
Bill's change too. I'm
The
so
first
sorry.
first sentence, it says I was decided, it should say it.
Okay.
And then on that same page, if you go down to the largest paragraph on the page,
Mhm.
to the fourth line from the bottom.
Mhm.
At the end, it says derived and is she. That should be if she instead of is. And then
Derived and if.
if
If.
she does not get an answer, and continuing with that same sentence, does not get an answer, the data set can be removed, and you need to insert the word and, A-N-D, a general statement. about bike accessibility friendly can be added.
Got it.
Any other corrections?
Mr. Chairman, on the very next page of the same minutes,
What's the top say? First line.
first line says Dan Dean asked for clarification.
Yep.
I had a question. It's not a suggestion. I'm just in that the third full paragraph. It says MRA was founded in 1987. Is that correct?
That should be
1897?
1897.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
it's correct in the plan.
okay.
So I
Okay.
think this is meant to read 18.
Yeah, we're just gonna need to correct our minutes. And continuing on the very next paragraph. Paragraph begins Powell Jones of 421 Appalachian Way. Go down to the fourth line. It says Mr. Powell. That should be Mr. Jones. Encourage town leadership. And then the very last paragraph, it's not full paragraph, it carries over the next page, starts with Stephen Jones. And Angie said you could not hear his name on recording. I think that was Ken Shortridge that made those comments. I'm
It's nice that people have like, they have this good memory.
I'm pretty sure that's who made that comment.
Any other
That's all I have.
additions or corrections? All in favor of the revised minutes of June 15th as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. The
Who,
motion carries. We need to do the April minutes. So, any changes, corrections to the April minutes? Seeing none, would someone like to move the adoption of those minutes?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, those carry.
Um,
So there's 2 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm so sorry. Who made the original motion to approve the June 15th minutes?
What now?
Who made the motion to approve the June 15th minutes?
I think Dan.
I think I did both
Okay.
of them. Yeah.
And do we remember who seconded?
I did.
Okay, thank
These members are.
you. I'm so sorry. Trying to do 3 things at once.
Okay, next we have subcommittee updates. I've seen Mr. Burns has just joined us. Welcome. And we understand you have now moved. I didn't know that you moved yet. We hope we will continue to see this. With that, any update on Hillside Development? Wade is the chair of that. And Liz and I were on it, and there's nothing really to report. We'll meet again in the fall.
Well, I think the outcome of what happens with that, with, I guess, all of the committees ultimately will be informed by the discussion of amending the ordinances.
Anything on the sign committee?
We'll have our report by the October meeting.
And the zoning ordinance amendments research committee, Mr. Dean has been working hard on that.
I'm a broken record. We're just still in a holding pattern until the lawsuit is resolved. We're compiling a list of things to discuss once we're able to start discussing and making recommendations.
Under new business, the comprehensive plan public engagement summary, I think that was. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I can run through it real quick. So at the Board of Commissioners meeting on July 14th, there were several individuals who spoke about and provided comment on the comprehensive plan. Several individuals asked that additional tax revenue information be added into the plan. Additionally, the concern about historic preservation not being as defined in the plan was also brought up. And then there was one question about whether, well, there were two specific questions. There's one about whether the date in the plan for the MRA's founding was correct, and it is. I think that individual may have been looking at a older version of the plan. I'm not sure, because the final plan I have says 1897. And then another individual asked about the special use permit process, and I reached out to them to clarify that the comprehensive plan has nothing to do with changing regulations. It may in the future, but it doesn't. And then just to kind of summarize the outcome of that meeting, Board of Commissioners didn't make any formal decisions, and then they scheduled a public hearing to adopt the plan in August.
And that was our recommendation, y'all. Recommendation public hearing this evening, and the second, which will be the August meeting, then presumably they'll vote on, I'll go back in.
If they want to.
Any questions? Okay, would you like to lead us in a discussion of the amendment of the P&Z ordinance and bylaws?
Sure.
And I had asked Kayla to send out the bylaws, which I have not seen. And then it was also the minutes of the November 2021 meeting
Mhm.
when we adopted the last of those provisions. And with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I looked at so just quickly with the 2021, the last time the bylaws were amended, it looked like it was just a cleanup. That's kind of what I got.
Well,
but I
we
don't
did,
know.
we did it line by line. There was a subcommittee that reviewed it and we went through the entire, but yes, it was basically a fresh look 18 years after the original adoption, I think.
Sure, yeah. So that was what happened in 2021. The reason that we're bringing up the bylaws is the question of whether non-planning and zoning commission members could serve on subcommittees, whether or not that was something that could be done, and whether that was something that the commission is interested in doing. I reached out to my kind of planning network, and what I heard from that network was that that is something that other jurisdictions are doing, allowing just members of the public to serve on subcommittees instead of the subcommittees just being made up of planning and zoning commission members. So it is certainly something that's happened that people that jurisdictions are doing. The bylaws are specific about the composition of subcommittees, so Rule 26 and 27 in the bylaws. The ordinance
You
that
need in
is,
the rules of procedure.
sorry, yes, rules of procedure. The ordinance that established the Planning and Zoning Commission doesn't really specify what the composition of the Planning and Zoning Commission is, so I'm relying on the rules of procedure to dictate what that process looks like. So if the Planning and Zoning Commission did want to open up subcommittees to non-commission members and allow members of the public to serve on subcommittees, we'd have to amend the rules of procedure. I don't know if we'd need a formal ordinance approved by the Board of Commissioners to make this change, but I can look into that if the Planning and Zoning Commission does want to amend the bylaws to allow this.
I made a note. I hope all y'all had a chance to look at it, but I looked at it in the rules of procedure, that there were 3 places where we needed to act, and maybe only 2. Motion 11 on page 7, the commission may vote to refer a substantive motion to a committee consisting of commission members for study and recommendations, blah, blah, blah. So that didn't change anything except board to commission, so the substance was the same. The next one was on page 10. And in Rule 26, appointments, the commission may consider to make appointments to its own committees, if any, only an open session may fill a vacancy among its own membership. The chair shall open for blah, 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 blah. All nominations shall be commissioners unless North Carolina law or ordinance provides otherwise. And then on committees and boards, in Rule 27, that's essentially what it says. All committee members shall be commission members unless otherwise permitted by North Carolina law. And so that, Kayla, that raised in my mind, if it's permitted by North Carolina law, then do we need to amend it? Because-
Yeah, because the local ordinance can be stricter than North Carolina law. So because your ordinance says you can only fill subcommittees with commission members, we'd have to amend the bylaws.
But it doesn't say
It doesn't
that.
say that in the ordinance.
It says it shall be commission members unless otherwise
In
permitted.
bylaws, it says that. That says unless it's permitted by.
I mean, if you guys want to interpret it that way, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I noticed at the meeting.
I'm
that they-
fine. If you guys want to interpret it that way, I'm fine with that.
So we wouldn't.
Well,
Let me just say it, at the
Go ahead.
meeting, if that was adopted in the minutes of the November 11th, 2021 meeting, which I asked for, right after they voted on this, Mason Blake moved to form a subcommittee of 68 members, with 1 or 2 members being on the planning and zoning committee to refer to review the stormwater. So right at that meeting, they appointed a committee that didn't include all just, so that shows the intent. So we have to do that. So we don't really have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's
they
fine.
kind of muddied the waters a little bit. I agree with everything you said to the point where it says unless otherwise permitted. I could not find specific permission in the statute. There's no prohibition, so you could make the argument, I guess, that tacitly or implicitly are permitting it by not prohibiting it. But what I would say is just looking long term, I agree with the conclusion. I think we could proceed and let Mr. Burns continue on that committee, for example, based on what you just said. But what I would recommend is that we allow my committee, once it starts reviewing, to look at this and maybe clean up the ordinance. So, for example, I would make a suggestion personally, for example, that if we have such a subcommittee with non-commission members on it, that commission members be the majority of the committee. Or have some fine tuning like such as that. So just to make it a little clearer and certain, but for now, I think we can proceed based on what your analysis was. I agree with that.
Dan, I agree with you. That was going to be my question. Are there going to be any parameters
Yes, I think there
to
should
who
be.
would be on the committee?
I agree. I agree.
You know, I think that would be important.
I agree.
So
100%.
right now, we don't need to refer that to Dan's
Yeah.
committee as part of this. He'll look at it. We'll refer it to Dan's committee and they'll use the microphones and get it amended.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. Let's have a motion to that effect. Refer it to take no action now, but to refer it to
I'll make such a motion.
their second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That then gets us to what we just added was the vacancy
Let's see, I had
created.
one other question on this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
On the rules of procedure. As I was just, reading the paragraph on regular meetings and thinking about this meeting. Unless it's somewhere else, and it may well be, I didn't see an explicit allowance for a change in the meeting dates due to scheduling issues, which is kind of what happened with this meeting. And it happened to another one recently. Is that somewhere else? Because it doesn't look like, it's not a public holiday issue. It's not a special or emergency or an adjourned meeting. So it looked like if that's not anywhere else, we need to, make that accommodation. I think the town of Montreat rules of procedure specifically has a provision that says unless otherwise designated by the commission to provide that flexibility. So just a question.
Oh, I would agree with that.
So can we cure that? I think because we did move the meeting from last week to this week.
Yeah, I would agree that adding in something to that effect would be helpful to authorize the change in a regular meeting date, because I read it the same, that there's nothing in here that provides the process.
Or either prohibits it either. So we'll refer that to Dan's committee too. That's a good point.
So my understanding is
Oh, now, Dan's, I'm glad y'all are reading these so carefully.
so my understanding is that we would make some sort of amendment where if it's all agreed upon, we can change the date. Okay.
I'm making a note as we speak.
Okay.
Your list is adding up, Dean.
Any other discussion on this particular matter? I'm not trying to cut it off. Okay, so let's go on to the item we added, which is the vacancy created on the this commission by Mr. Burns moving outside of the town. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, so since Wade is no longer a resident of the municipal boundary of Montreat, and he's yet to move into his new home in ETJ, he cannot serve in the regular town member seat anymore. So we have a vacancy. Now, typically to fill the vacant seat process, we would ask the Board of Commissioners to select a name and appoint that person. But the Planning and Zoning Commission can suggest names. And so before just putting it to the Board of Commissioners, I wanted to see if either of the alternates wanted to step up and take the regular seat. If that were to happen, then it would be an alternate seat that would be vacant.
I need to ask a question I didn't think about a minute ago, because are y'all both residents?
We are not full-time residents here yet. I was gonna bring that point up. Yeah, we will be within, our plan is to be within the next 6 to 12 months, but we're not currently
Yeah.
full-time residents here.
I just remembered that.
Yeah.
And we don't have a definition of residency other than being, either owning or renting property in the town limits, I believe, right? Or am I wrong in that?
I would think that is being your primary residence, but maybe that's something that we could ask. Hands.
I mean,
Wait, what?
I think it comes down to, if you aren't going to be here enough to serve on the commission, then that's kind of your determination to make.
I think, I don't have the ordinance in front of me, but I think an establishment of, I don't know if it's a planning and zoning, somewhere in there, I remember the word citizen being used.
Well, I'm reading it right here. The 7-member planning commission shall be composed of 6 members residing in the town.
Okay, reside.
6 members residing in the town of Montreat and 1 member residing in the ETJ of the town of Montreat, which I think is Al.
Mhm.
2 alternate members who reside in the town of Montreat shall also be selected by the town board of commission.
That
And
begs the
technically,
question.
that's the same thing. So we're not really in compliance if you have to be a full-time resident.
Yes,
I guess when, I guess Tom Whitmore originally approached me about potentially joining this commission, he was of the view that if, unlike the town commission, did not require you to be a full-time resident. Now, that may not be accurate, but that was the backdrop of this asking me to consider it. So I think, we are residents in the sense that we own a house here and have since fall of 2020. And I'm probably spending 70% of my time up here at this point. And I've not missed any meetings the last 10 months. So the law is the law. So I think you need to determine what that provision means. But
Well, if you would like to do it, maybe we could suggest that you would like to serve.
Yeah.
And Sally, if you, either of y'all, we would suggest, and we'd ask the commission to clarify the meantime answer. You could talk to the lawyer if you need to, and we could get some clarification.
but Bill makes a good point. If he's qualified to be an alternate, he's
Yeah.
technically qualified to be a full-time. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's in Montreat especially, I feel like it's difficult to, because people are kind of sometimes seasonal, sometimes not. Some people live within driving distance, some don't. And, it's hard to kind of capture that in one definition, I guess, and in one limit. And I mean, I don't know, my take on it is that if you are a resident, whether that's renting or owning, and you feel like you can make yourself available for the work
Mm.
needed, then, I mean,
Then you're okay.
Yeah, I mean, it, gives us more options for people to participate.
This is something that was already on our list. It had come up
Okay,
previously that the question had been raised about membership on this committee, and I guess it applied for most of the town, was whether you had to be a full-time resident or part-time. What the question was raised, I don't think it's clearly answered in the statute, or I mean, in our ordinance.
so maybe y'all could take a look at it.
We'll take a look
Anytime
at
We
it.
could suggest, if y'all both would like to consider, we could suggest both. Sure.
I'm currently happy with my position.
So, Bill, you.
Sure, I'd be happy to be considered.
I'd make a motion that we recommend to the council then, in view of what, it's just transpired, what Sally said, we recommend Bill as a full-time member.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Probably need to discuss all your bona fides.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Thank you.
Okay, so I will reach out to the Board of Commissioners, let them know that you guys have recommended Bill to move into that regular seat. And Sally will remain in her alternate, and that should they appoint Bill, we will have a vacancy in an alternate seat. Yeah.
And maybe we can be thinking of some, you can maybe, and Tom
Yeah.
Whitman's been very.
And if you guys have suggestions for people who, may want to be a part of Planning and Zoning Commission, make those suggestions to the Board of Commissioners. And we'll go from there.
Excuse me, do we need to clarify anything in the ordinance that you were just reading?
That's what
Oh.
Dan's going to take.
Okay, so we've kind of added that to your list. Just wanted to make sure.
In fact, you
Okay,
said it was already on the.
it's already on.
Three more items on the
there.
list.
Okay,
It's a growing
you.
list.
Yes. I really do want to thank y'all and appreciate those readings of these that y'all do. It's
So
Very
ju-
helpful.
I have a question just to clarify. So based on what we just talked about earlier, so Wade will be allowed to continue to serve on that subcommittee,
on the
hillside.
hillside.
Yeah.
Assuming he
Now,
wants,
chair, isn't it?
he is the chair.
So you'll have to appoint a new chair.
But
Chair that committee, what you would
Because-
have a,
Because the chair needs to be a member of the commission.
I don't know that it says that.
I don't think it requires that.
so a chair can be a non-member of the P&Z.
Yes. Of the subcommittee.
Oh.
Because it's just a subcommittee.
I thought that what you guys just said was that we were going to allow non-planning and zoning commission members to serve on subcommittees.
Correct.
Yeah.
The question is, can a non-commissioned member serve as chair of a subcommittee? And that'll be
Right.
something we'll discuss in our committee. I don't think it's answered right now.
Yeah, I don't,
It's implicit because it's not prohibited,
yeah.
but it'll be helpful to clarify.
So then Wade could still, if he wanted to, right?
Serve as
Continue.
chair of that.
Will continue to serve on the committee.
Or I'd say the subcommittee could make that decision much themselves as they did when, did you appoint him as chair or did y'all elect him as
I
chair?
don't remember. I think we elected him. As I recall. We'll figure that out. But Wade, if you'd like to continue on that committee, we'd like to have you. And you can so advise, okay? All right, is there any further business?
Wade, if you just want to reach out to me and let me know what you decide. And then we can,
We can work on that. Yeah. And I see we have esteemed members of the public here. Would either of y'all like to speak to the commission or make a contribution to the members of the commission or anything? Right. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Ah.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all.
and the next meeting is October 19th.
October the 19th.
Who seconded?
Somebody did. John did.
John did.
John moved.
Oh,
Who seconded?
Dan, did you?
Dan seconded.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to talk, trying to focus and trying to take notes at the same time.
Okay, well, thank y'all for participating. See you in October.